All right, so before I start, I have a quick question for all of you here. How many of you have realized that in the last 5 and 10 years, the salon industry has completely changed? How many of you realize that? Has anybody not realized that? Is anybody still stuck like 10 years ago? Right? One of the things that I've realized of being a part of this industry and seeing what it is really about is that there are some fundamental differences that in the last 10 years have made a huge impact in how the salon industry is changing and evolving, or rather how it's not evolving. So I just want to say, first of all, how many of you guys seen some really good coaches and trainers up here? How many of you guys seen some really good coaches? How many of you are those really good coaches? That's you, thank you. I just want to say to all of my peers that are here that you guys are doing amazing jobs at what you do, and every single one of us has some uniqueness. I used to think that being a ballroom dance teacher and being a swing dancer was unique, but damn it! Yeah! This guy snuck up out of nowhere. Anyway, but it happens. Anyway, but as I talk about this stuff, I just want to say, for those of you that are salon owners, who is in the room that is a salon owner that's here checking this stuff out? How many of you are salon owners checking this out? Thank you for staying extra. Thank you for staying and listening to us do this like road show for all of you guys. Thank you for being here. And for those of you guys like, I got my 12, let's do this. Thank you, okay? So as I get started, my name is Jason Everett. I run the High Performance Salon Academy with my partner, Doug. Everybody say, what's up, Doug? Doug is my business partner. We've been running the High Performance Salon Academy for the last 3 years. I've been doing training, teaching, consulting for 11, and I've been training and teaching and doing all kinds of different things for almost 19 years now. And what I wanted to share with you guys today is a little bit about what we do inside our High Performance Salon Academy, because how many of you ever went to a really boring class before? How many went to a boring class? How many that was called school? Anybody remember that? It was pretty boring, right? And it was pretty terrible. But by that same token, how many of you have ever been to a really good class with a really great teacher that inspired you and got you fired up? Yeah, you at least had one, right? You had one really good teacher. How many of you, by the way, are just not raising your hands because you don't do that in these classes? Thanks, there was one dude. But I say that because I think there's a lot of bad teachers. What are there? There's a lot of bad teachers out there, and I think that all the coaches here are great, but I just want to say this, is that there's so many people that have bad experiences with teaching, and one of the things that we like to do at the High Performance Salon Academy is make sure that learning is fun. That learning is what? Fun. Is that learning is fun. It's fun. Learning should be fun, and learning should be something that you do. That's why we teach experiential learning, meaning that you have an experience of something before you actually learn it, and you almost learn by accident, because how many of you had something that you've learned, like riding a bike, that you could read about it, you could have somebody tell you about it, but until you get on the bicycle, you don't actually know it, right? How many have fallen off a bike before? Everybody fallen off a bike? Yeah, so the idea is, for example, I'll point this down here, I know I'm going out of the light, nobody freak out. But we created the first ever salon board game that actually teaches consultation. It shows you what to do when a customer throws you an objection or a challenge or a problem, or they throw you an obstacle. And the idea is that your staff can actually play a game and learn how to teach how to do a proper consultation and then make sure that they know how to sell retail. How many think that your staff would eye roll if you said you were going to do some role play in your salon? How many think that would be the case? Okay, but if I said to you, look, we're going to play a game, we're going to put some prizes on the line, and we're going to just play a game, and if you learn, fantastic. How many think they could get their staff to actually play a game? Right, that's the idea, is that learning should be fun. Learning should be what? Fun. So I want to share with you guys just a little bit, because we've got, a few minutes here, but I want to share with you about how we train and teach. If you guys want to take a photo, even my, colleagues, knock yourself out, take a photo of this. This is what we call our genius model, and these are the 3 areas. How many areas? 3 areas that we train and teach from. Number 1, how do you attract guests? How do you what with guests? How do you attract staff, and how do you attract guests? Number 2, how do you keep staff, keep guests? Number 3, how do you deliver to staff and deliver to guests? And around the outside, you'll see 9 drivers. There's hiring, marketing, automation, accountability, culture. Anybody heard any of those words before? Maybe from some of the other coaches that have been up here. We just find that these are the areas that we realized need the most amount of help inside a salon. We don't teach hands-on, we don't teach hair, we teach business, we teach practical skills, and we teach a lot of personal development. Because how many of you realize as a salon owner that if your staff is not doing well, it's a reflection of you? How many of you here have children? How many of you have seen children before? You've seen them, they're small, they run around, you guys have seen them, right? So if the children are a reflection of you, your staff is the same way. So if you don't work on who you are as a salon owner, you will never be able to get your staff to do what you're asking them to do. And I think one of the mistakes that a lot of people make in training and consulting, at least in my opinion and my partner's opinion, is that a lot of people think it's about the information. About the what? Information. And a lot of people say, look, here's everything you know, top to bottom, how to run your salon. But I don't think it's about the information. How many of you in this room have a ton of information? How many have already had hit information overload just from this morning? Right? And you're like, I don't even know what this guy's saying, right? Is that it's not about the information, it's about the implementation. It's about the what? Hello, it's about the what? It's about the implementation. And so knowing all this stuff is fantastic, but until you actually do something, and a lot of people have been talking about it, right? It's about taking the action. It's about getting the action implemented inside the salon. And our whole academy from top to bottom is designed to help people figure out what's happening within them that stops them from implementing. Because how many of you that are salon owners have great ideas, but when you tell them to your team, they look at you like you have 3 heads and they're never gonna do it? So if that's the kind of problem that you're having, that's where we come in. We take salons that are already doing really, really well, but they've hit a plateau. Because now you've evolved as a leader to a certain point and you can't go any further. It means you need to bring in someone else from the outside who can help you figure out what's stopping you from going further and taking you to that next place. Does that make sense? And one of the things that we've realized inside the salon industry, because I actually don't come from the salon industry. I don't know, I've been in the industry for 10 years specifically, working with like L'Oreal, Redken, also companies like Massage Envy. How many are familiar with Massage Envy? I worked with those guys. I worked with Clarence Makeup, Bare Minerals. I worked with tons of companies, usually educating at a brand level, teaching their trainers how to teach. Okay? But what I've realized as I've now gotten plugged in with my partners and do all these other great things that run amazing salons, is that there's a fundamental problem in the salon industry. And this is my opinion from the outside, okay? So if this offends you, I'm sorry. But here's what happens. When I go into salons, I meet these amazing women, these amazing men who run these incredible salons. And when they introduce themselves to somebody, and there's a woman that I know who makes tons of money, more than doctors, lawyers, and attorneys, she says, I run a salon. And somebody in the outside world goes, that's cute, what does your husband do? I'm just being honest, like from an outsider, that offends me, and I'm not even involved in the salon industry like directly like that, except for being a coach and a trainer. And one of the things that I found is I think there needs to be an evolution and a revolution of what's done in the salon industry. So we've created a program. I'd like to share a quick video with you that talks about what we're changing, what we're doing, because I personally believe that what needs to change right now in the salon industry is the leadership model that's happening, but I also think that what needs to change, because what worked 20 years ago is not still working today. And if you're trying to do what happened 20 years ago, you're gonna die. And so if you figure out what is happening now, what people want to lead and what they evolve to and what they're becoming now, it will greatly change your perspective. So let's see if this thing works. Nope, there's a video there. Right between there and there. There was one. So check out this amazing video. I did send it over extra and things. Cool, well that's fun. So here's what I'll tell you. One of the things about this, like I said, is that I think one of the fundamental problems that happens inside salons is that when people have this distinction, I think that the rest of the world, and I'm just gonna say it straight, looks down on the salon and beauty industry. I think they do. I think that they don't value you guys for who you are. And I think that in general, they're like, that's cute. It's a trade. Congratulations, none of you graduated college and blah, blah, blah. I think that's what happens. And just to be clear, I barely graduated high school, didn't go to college, like same difference. And I know some of you guys did, some of you didn't. It's not what I want to make the point about. But the idea is that you guys, how many of you realize that you do amazing things for clients, customers, and guests all over the world? How many realize that, right? No matter what you do, whether you're a coach, consultant, salon owner, or anything in between. And the idea is that we need to start a revolution. And the revolutionary idea is this. You see on the love there's 3 things. How many things? There's 3. And there's 3 things that I want to talk about with you on that, is that I think there needs to be a shift and a change for how people think about the business and think about the industry. Number 1, we need to fall back in love with our income. What's the first one? Our income. What is it? You need to fall back in love with your income. If you're a salon owner and you're not making the income you deserve, because so often salon owners actually they go from being a stylist to being a salon owner and they make less than they were as a stylist. That's crazy, right? So you gotta fall back in love with your income. Number 2 is you gotta fall back in love with your people. Fall in love with your who? People. Fall in love with your people. Then number 3, you gotta fall in love with your future. Fall in love with your what? Future. And I think so often there's salon owners that just get bogged down on the day-to-day. You've covered payroll 100 times and you're trying to figure out why the hell do you do this? And so you start ignoring the numbers. You start ignoring the things that are really important, and you're just trying to manage sometimes a group of crazies, and you don't know, other than you love these people, why you did it in the first place. And I want you to fall back in love with the future of your business, with the future of your salon, and be excited about the future. But if you're so caught up in trying to do what worked 10 and 15 years ago and not paying attention to what's happening today, you will fall off the wagon. So I'll tell you what most salon owners do. What they used to do is they would hold their staff hostage and say, we bring in world-class education from all over the world, the brands bring it in, we bring in you these amazing educators, and they say, so that'll keep you here. And then they say, you know what else we can do? We can help you fill up your book of business, and we'll help you get really, really full and really, really busy as a stylist. But anybody know what happened in the last 5 years, the last 10 years? There's a thing called YouTube where I can Google anything I want, and it shows me instantly how to do any cut, any color, almost anywhere. And if I want to advertise myself, all I have to do is start up an Instagram page and I go do it. And the problem with most salon owners is they go, you know what, I'm not into Instagram, that's for my front desk. They're really good at it, they're about 20 years old. And so what happens is this huge advent of salon, booth rental, and suite rental has just been demolishing the salon industry. How many know what I'm talking about? Right, you are losing staff every single day to booth rental and suite rental. And I think it's because we used to dangle this carrot of we can get you guests and we'll bring you education, and no longer is that enough to keep your staff there. And what I think needs to change, and the revolution that exists, is we need to figure out what do we need to do to help keep our staff. And I think part of that is for you as salon owners to continue to grow as leaders, figure out what these millennials and these other generations are needing, what they're looking for, and it's all about creating a team environment, a team culture to help you get where you want to go. Is this making sense, you guys? Do me a favor, turn to somebody and say, it's time to change. Some of you guys won't even say it. You're like, I don't want to change. I'm going to stay right here for the rest of my life. This is how this is comfortable. How many of you realize that changing yourself is really hard? How many realize that changing somebody else is near impossible? Yeah? I mean, you ever tried to change somebody else? Now they're ex somebody else? Anybody done one of those before? So here's what I wanted to say to you guys. If you want to figure out how you can change and what you can do and what the newest things are that are available to you, I would love to chat with you. I'd love to give you some of our information about what we do in the Academy. And the last thing I want to say is, like, Steve, just for putting us all in the same room and making this cooperative instead of competitive, you are being part of that change to revolutionize the industry. So please give Steve a hand. Thank you, Steve.